Hey everybody, it's Donald here with Hidden Path Human Design. And today I just want to talk a little bit about what the reflector type in human design is. It's one of the 4 or 5 design types. And video is going to be all about understanding your unique role and what it means to be a reflector. And this is a generator's perspective. So, what is the reflector type in human design? Um, Without having any channels, it means that none of the energy centers are defined. So reflectors have 26 activations, but none of those activations are harmonically connected to another activation, which would form a channel between two energy centers. So you can quickly tell if you're a reflector if none of your energy centers are defined or colored in your chart. Reflectors here are here to reflect the health of a community or an environment. And we're going to talk about this later in the video. The strategy is to wait a 28-day lunar cycle. So they're pretty unique in this aspect. And also, I'm going to be providing more details later. The signposts for reflectors are surprise and disappointment. They have a sampling aura, and it also has a Teflon quality to it, which means like the information they're sampling doesn't necessarily stick to them. So it's a super strong aura. Some of their existential questions are: who am I today? And will I be noticed? So reflectors and projectors are considered non-energy types. So they have no consistent energy, and they're not here to really do things in the traditional way. So reflectors are actually here to provide us with objective wisdom by mirroring the health of a group of people or an area, and it shows up in themselves. This can make others not be able to get a sense of who you really are as a reflector. So it's really hard to tell who someone else is when they're constantly changing with the planetary activations that are going through as the days go by. So as every day changes, the reflector kind of changes a little bit, or other energies are available to them. And this also is the case as other people are in their environment, it changes the way they are as well. So, yeah, others can't really get a sense of who you are. So, it really takes time for someone else to get a sense of who you are and see you uniquely for yourself. So, knowing who you are day by day can help you differentiate yourself from others. And we're going to talk about how you can do that. So, in your strategy, it's to wait a 28-day lunar cycle. Now, waiting is not just sitting at home, it's going about your everyday activities, going to work, school, meeting up with friends, whatever you're doing, but being potentially aware of your surroundings, right? So, are your surroundings changing? How you feel, is that changing? All this stuff is all part of the waiting process. That's like an awareness, waiting with awareness. So each day, your chart is going to have temporary definitions that are created based on the lunar cycle, but also the overall energy of the day. So about every 6 days, the overall energies shift gates, and about every twice a day, just a little bit over, the moon energy will shift into different gates. So this creates a lot of different definitions in your chart, and kind of mapping out what these definitions feel like to you is important to understanding who you are. Now, these definition changes don't change what type you are. So, your strategy is not going to change if you're born as a reflector. Like, you're not going to suddenly be able to be a manifester for the next 2 hours, or be a generator and respond to things for the next 2 hours, or whatever it is, whatever your type definition is. So your strategy stays the same as waiting a 28-day lunar cycle to make any major decisions. So you have this fixed body graph, which is based on a fixed point in time when you were born, and also, and so this doesn't change. This is what's consistent in your life. And also, what's consistent is the moon phases through a 28-day cycle, each of the 64 hexagrams in the human design system. So every 28 days, you're going to move through the same sort of energies with the moon. And over time, you'll be able to get a good idea of how this makes you feel day by day. And almost like tracking any cycle, you'll be able to determine who you are versus where the moon is. And that'll give you a good sense of who you really are. So this balanced knowledge of your lunar cycle and also other transits going on over time can produce a bit of surprise in your life. When there's new things happening. So for the reflector, the environment is everything. So when you're in the right place, you are with the right people. So that's something important to note. Being in the right environment is key to your health and well-being. So if you're feeling very sickly or you're feeling very healthy, look at where you're actually living. What groups are you sampling? Are those groups healthy or are they not healthy? So this will appear in your own health. And this could be like the first sign of leaning you into like your strategy of waiting the 28-day lunar cycle of where to move next if it's not a healthy environment that you're in. Remember, you're never trapped. You have your own decisions to make your own choices and go other places with your life, because that's part of the point of the human design system, is to empower you to recognize these things first, and then it gives you a great decision making strategy and authority to actually move forward with decisions that are correct for you. And not always are the decisions that are correct for you in alignment with those around you. So, and it's okay, because you'll meet new people should that be something you might be worried about. The reflector aura is always sampling the information around. So no matter where you are, you're taking samples from everybody. However, that information isn't like sticking inside of you. You're not absorbing it and holding on to it forever and ever. Your aura kind of protects you in that whatever you take in, you don't hold on to for a very long period, which allows you to move through different energies and get a good synthesis of like what's going on and figure out how you feel about certain things or places or people or decisions you need to make. But this all happens over a 28-day lunar cycle. So yeah, the aura is considered like a Teflon aura, so nothing sticks to it. That's just a way you can remember it. Remaining in an unhealthy environment will impact your own health, and vice versa. Remaining in a healthy environment will also make you feel healthy. So sample a variety of environments. If you're going to move somewhere, go there, check it out, see how you feel a few times, right? Wait the 28 days to figure out if that's the correct place for you. If it is, well, only you know, so it's your own authority. So, yeah, it's a bit of an outer authority based on what the environment is telling you. So, always pay attention to your environment. Reflectors in relationships can be seen as a bit of a chameleon. Because you're amplifying others' energy in your open centers and reflecting that energy to them as well. This could play major factors in any relationship. Another thing to consider is that because you have no channels, somebody who comes into your life that has a channel and you only have one of the gates will make you compromised. And being compromised by someone can create this potential for feeling like there's narcissism in the relationship. Like, my spouse or partner or my friend is always doing this, and I never get included in that choice. But something to remember is this is very mechanical energy. So It's not that they're doing it consciously to you. So it's important to raise the discussion if you feel that way. Reflectors sometimes have a deep fear of feeling invisible or not seen for who they are. This just comes with reflecting everybody and not really knowing who you are, but you learn about yourself throughout the entire life. So we don't really know ourselves until we're 50 plus years old. And that's for anyone, even if you're in human design and you're constantly working at this. It takes 7 years to decondition. Every 7 years you get a little bit better. It involves special diets as well. So it takes. We're all in the process of learning about ourselves. Some of the keys for being a reflector in a relationship is learning about yourself, like understanding your lunar cycle, who am I, moment to moment, and seeing how that might be impacting your relationship with the other person, and just being authentic and being open to communication with them. Also, having healthy boundaries with others. So, if you have a lot of people in your life that are rushing you, maybe these people, or you're in the wrong environment, and that's why these people are always rushing you. And you should look for an environment that kind of supports you, because that's what it's all about, right? If you feel supported, then you can provide the wisdom to other people. But if you don't feel supported and you're always feeling rushed, then this could be a big problem in your life. A healthy relationship is one exactly where you're not being rushed. So always look at your relationships. And if you're constantly being dragged around, pulled around, and rushed into making major life decisions, just take note of that and stick up for yourself. And what I mean by sticking up is like, telling people that you need time. Sometimes playing the humble approach and just being open and honest and authentic with others will help you move forward. The signposts for the reflector are surprise and disappointment. Now, signposts basically tell you if you're moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. So, something that's in alignment with who you are or in unalignment with who you are. Surprise is like when you're included and seen for what you bring, what the wisdom that you bring to the group. And people are asking for your wisdom, like, how do you feel about us as a group? Are we performing well? And, it's good to, they're often called in business evaluators. And when you're being surprised, when you're in a surprise state, life is unfolding in unexpected ways. People are asking you for advice. You really feel seen. There's no need to doubt or feel invisible. And on the other hand, there's this other signpost of disappointment. Uh, when there's no changes in life, like things are just the status quo, same poop emoji, different day. And when you're feeling kind of invisible, like nobody really sees you, you're there, but you don't really feel seen by the group you're in, or the groups you're in. And one thing, as an emotional being myself, I noticed that a lot of our emotional system is linked to our expectations. Like, what do we feel should happen, our expectations of outcome, and all of this. So I was just wondering, because surprise and disappointment seem closely tied in with our expectations, how would that sit with you as a reflector? So how are these signposts linked to your own expectations? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion if you're a reflector. Some tips for raising reflector children: introduce them to a lot of people and places to sample. So that's, don't always bring them to the same park. Bring them to different parks. Bring them to different birthday parties. Wherever you're going, the mall. Bring them, just so they can sample different people and places. And they'll get a good sense of like, oh, I don't like going to that place, or I don't like going to this place, or I really love going to this place, but not that place. And you'll get a good sense of like what the places or environments that are correct for them are. Don't demand consistency from these children or rush them, because they learn best in a self-paced environment. So, letting them kind of grow as themselves in a supporting environment is best. Let them sample different things and really feel out what's correct for them. As a parent, you can learn about their lunar cycle and see how the 28-day cycle impacts them. So each day you can make notes on your child, like, oh, they were this way in the morning, they were that way in the evening. And by learning about their cycle, you're kind of learn, like, if you have a upcoming event on a certain day and you know that they don't do good on that day, or they're maybe avoid going on that day altogether, or just expecting that, okay, well, they're going to be like this today, and I love and accept them as they are. As for bedtime, bedtime is recommended before exhaustion, lets them come back to themselves before falling asleep. So, kind of releasing the energy of the day and just being in their own energy before they go to bed. If you want to work with me, I offer foundational human design readings that cover type, strategy, and authority, and other key aspects of your design. Learning a little bit about yourself and how you operate can really serve you in life. So, that would be one of the key takeaways you would get from a foundational human design reading. The details are in the video description below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you very much.